Ask Dan Schneider. Barbara Ross of the Queen writes to me and says, Dan, what do you have against jazz music? Why are you always putting jazz down? The answer to that is I'm not putting jazz down so much. I'm not a big fan of jazz. I don't particularly like it, but I also don't think it's musically as complex as other musical forms. And as I've aged, music seems to me a very pallid art form in comparison to some of the other art forms that I've engaged in. Um, so that's the basic answer to it. When I listen to a lot of jazz, I hear a lot of tintinnabulation, especially with the the metal, not with the brass, uh, whatever it was called, um, and it's just very predictable. And then you get these self-indulgent riffs. People complain, for example, about hard rock and the self-indulgent guitar riffs. Well, listen to jazz. They're as bad or worse. And so give me hard rock, give me even old time country music, give me um, uh, the blues, bluegrass, give me uh, even classical music, opera. I can take generally over jazz. Now I do. There is some jazz that I do think is good. I think jazz, when it's accompanied by lyrical words, music, such as in the big band era, it's at its best. When you listen to some of the jazz stuff of an Ella Fitzgerald, or even what's his name, Satchmo, Louis Armstrong, who I think is overrated, but it's much more listenable than the Coltrane's and the Charlie Bird Parkers and some of these other people, Miles Davis, because it does have uh, there is a definitive uh, thing about the work that is giving you something. It's not just this self-indulgent shit. A lot of jazz became in the 50s and 60s sort of what postmodernism was, just a lot of self-indulgent crap, just with no structure, no depth, and it bored the hell out of a lot of people. This is one of the reasons why I think jazz has died. It's also one of the reasons that a lot of hard rock and heavy metal music died too. In the 1980s to 1990s, and especially after grunge, it went that way. In a similar vein, just as hard rock gave way to hair bands and became a joke, so has rap music, especially like gangster rap that is real rap, became hip hop, which is sort of like boy band rap. And so that's faded too. But anyway, those are some of the things that jazz just doesn't do for me. Thanks for the question.